If you go back to the original Getting Things Done book, David Allen said you should separate tasks by contexts. He wrote that contexts identify tools, places, or people that require you to complete a given task. But the contexts you use today are probably different than those used a few years ago. Hi, I'm Dave Edwards. Today, a fresh look at contexts. I remember reading the GTD book, and it suggested contexts such as at home, at computer, at phone. But nowadays, unless I'm on an airplane, I pretty much have a computer and phone everywhere I go. The purpose of context is to give you focus when it's time to get to work. If you have a lot of actions on your to-do list that you cannot carry out right now, and if you don't use context, you are obliged to continually reconsider all of your options over and over again. When creating contexts and assigning them to your actions, you want to ask yourself, what do I need in order to do this? Where do I need to be? Or who do I need to be with? Rather than getting stuck on the contexts of the past, it's wise to come up with those that work for you today. The idea that GTD allows for customization and flexibility is a little bit unusual to a lot of people. I think a lot of people just want to read the Getting Things Done book or attend a GTD seminar and follow it verbatim and believe that unless they do, they will not be successful. Well, that's really not the case. I believe that GTD gives us an excellent framework from which we begin our productivity journey. For example, if you have a long commute to work, let's say you take a train or a bus, well, you could accomplish a lot of reading while you are commuting. So you might want to have a context that says at commuting or at reading, so that when you have time to read while you're on the train, you can go to your list and sort by the context that will allow you to get your reading done. It's also good to consider your personal situations when creating contexts and allowing them to evolve over time. I mean, the context that you set up last year may no longer be relevant to your activities today. You should stay practical and real with the use of contexts. So here are some of mine. Rather than have at home or at work, because now that I don't have a 9 to 5, I have a home office for my consulting practice. I have a context that is at consulting. I also teach at an area university. So it's helpful to me to have a context that says at teaching. When I'm at the university, this is an opportunity to get those tasks done. Or when I want to be in the mental mindset of working on my college classes, well, then I have that context to rely on. I also have one that's at hobbies. I mean, I have a number of hobbies. And when I have time to work on my hobbies, I can click on that context and there are my next actions waiting for me. I also have context for the people I interact with. Now, again, when I had a 9 to 5, I had a context for each person that I supervised. For example, at the name of the business manager, at the name of the marketing manager, and the like. So this way, when I would meet with them, I could sort my topics and next actions by that name, and the list would appear in front of me. I also had one for my boss and the other people inside the organization that I interacted with on a regular basis. Once you've set up your contexts and you've attached a context to each of those items, you could pretty much ignore tasks and lists that are out of that context. I mean, I may have a chore to do at home, paint my office walls, but if I'm running errands or if I'm teaching at the university, I don't need to look at that context. Another important thing to remember is that you shouldn't be switching contexts. By that, I mean, if you're at home, don't gravitate to other contexts unless you're willing to make that move. So at hobbies is a very valuable context for me, but only when I have time to focus on my hobbies, not when I have bills to pay or do work for one of my clients. I'd love to know what contexts you have and what you use. Leave a comment below. As I always say, we can learn from each other.